Chris Abele giving us an update on the courthouse.
More information by then. We're doing a lot of testing. In fact, there's about to be a test in the next probably hour or so. But we're committed to doing, as always, absolutely everything we can to ensure that nobody's back in the building in an unsafe way, to minimize any disruption to service. And obviously, from my point of view, we're also focusing a lot on making sure that taxpayers are represented and we get covered what needs to be covered, and that the burden doesn't hit the taxpayer. But it's been a lot of scrambling, and I'll say, frankly, you guys helped us out a lot yesterday in getting the word out. We put out stuff on email, we put out notices to as many people as we can, but the message definitely got out about the closure, and we appreciate your willingness to help share that message.
What is the likelihood that the courthouse will actually open on Wednesday?
Hard to say right now. I want to be really careful about, setting any expectations there. If it's entirely up to me, I would like to be able to open things as soon as possible and get back to normal as soon as possible, but I'm not going to take any chances, and nobody on staff will. There's nobody who'd like to get back to regular operations as fast as I would, but also there's nobody less likely to take any risk getting there. So we're going as fast as we can to test. Lots of testing, and we have a lot of contractors, a lot of great staff, and we've worked really hard, and a lot of departments have, to ensure continuity of services going forward. It's a lot to do when you've got over 1,000 employees in this building who all provide valuable services to the county. And we just came from city campus, about 20 blocks that way, where we're doing a lot of improvising and contingency planning. But again, we should know more tomorrow.
Can you talk about the environmental hazards? What kind of testing are you talking about? Do you have asbestos issues? Has that been bothered? What about smoke in the HVAC?
Sure. Well, again, I'm not an expert on fires, but anytime you have any incident like this, you have to assume, or you can't rule out any of what you just mentioned as possibilities. So obviously, we're not going to take any chances. We're testing every area of the courthouse and the safety building. And while there are plenty of places in both buildings where if you didn't know something had happened, you'd have no idea. I mean, you don't see any evidence of it, but we're not assuming anything in particulate matter is hard to see. So we're testing, and we're kind of floor by floor, room by room, affected areas.
So how extensive is the damage?
Still hard to say. In terms of the actual fire, relatively confined, but with particulate matter, and that's just the issue, with smoke or asbestos or anything that could be an issue, it's not always easy to see, and so we're not, again, going to guess. We're testing.
And although all being for the court docket, since everything's being pushed to next week, will there be extended hours, or any idea what's going on with that?
Well, it's probably easier at Summerfest when John Mayer calls the night before and says, sorry, I can't make it. You get some dissatisfied fans, but it's not, necessarily a life-changing event unless somebody was planning a proposal or something. But here, courts are making significant life decisions for a lot of people, so it's been a lot of scrambling. When I said that we were just meeting out at city campus, that includes courts. We've been regularly in touch with them and the district attorney's office, really every part of the criminal justice system, because we all have to coordinate. They seem fairly comfortable on essentially just pushing back about a week is the sort of current thinking, but we'll know more on that.
Is there a contingency plan if the closure lasts longer than just 2 days? What to do with all these court dates, to move it to another building?
Well, I like to, in planning for anything, whether it's a budget or something like this, just, budget for the apocalypse and aim for paradise. That way, you're prepared for any scenario. We're hoping to get courts up and running as they normally do as soon as we can. But again, we're not assuming anything. And people who have upcoming cases should check first and get information. We'll be posting whatever we've got. But the important thing for people to know is you've got a court case coming up here, please check on our website, and we've got a helpline which we can give you the number for, but appreciate your willingness to share that. And in terms of testing, we've looked at a lot of different ideas. One idea that was just floated as a way to handle temporary power is a generator brought to the roof by helicopter. And while, you know, it's a nifty sounding visual, if it's an expensive thing, the only time we do it is if it's necessary. It's just, the point is, we're looking at absolutely everything, every idea, any way we can restore regular service as soon as possible. But people should know, you know, aside from being able to get to a court hearing here, you know, most people in the county aren't going to see a significant difference, and if we do our job right, you know, we're going to end up with a courthouse that's better prepared, better equipped, better resourced than it was before, and we'll be better prepared for the next time this sort of thing happens.
Should the county have been prepared before this? Was there some deferred maintenance that maybe could have prevented a fire and damage like this?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Right now, I'm just focused on looking for solutions. How can I right now get as fast as possible back to regular operations for the people who work here and the people in the county that they serve? And again, in terms of determining cause, you know, there's no definite cause right now. I think it's the fire department. I'm not positive that sort of rules on that. And again, I'm certainly not an expert. I'm just talking to lots of people who are experts in a lot of different fields, and we're trying to coordinate people. But yes, we will certainly want to know. And the most important thing I'm sure most of your viewers want to know is, hey, let's just ensure that this doesn't happen again.
And although many news outlets did get the word out, the number one complaint I heard this morning was that they weren't notified. Maybe they didn't watch the news. Are you planning to set up some sort of hotline in the future? What's your plan moving forward for emergencies?
Yeah, we do have a hotline up, and there's information on the website. And again, I'm grateful for those of you who've helped us spread the word. I mean, it really does make a difference. You know, I don't know if there's ever any scenario where you can guarantee everybody's going to know. We can do the best we can. So we'll continue to get the message out, website, hotline, as much media as we can, and certainly there will be people here to help, you know, guide people where they need to go.
Feel that if you need to come to jury duty, they will track you down. However, when it's your turn to show up and the doors are closed, maybe there wasn't as much effort made on the part of the county to inform people who might have missed work for the day because they came for jury duty, or...
I suppose I can't really speak to that. Again, you know, what I'm focused on, you know, when we're back up and running normally and operations are running smoothly, I can spend all the time I want at leisure trying to figure out what went wrong and where we could have done better. And frankly, you know, anytime we do anything, I always like to look back and say, hey, what could we learn and how could we do it better? But right now, we're focused on one thing, and that's returning the county to what it should be, which is efficiently serving the citizens who are here.
Yesterday you made several allusions to deferred maintenance, aging infrastructure, and that you'd been working to catch up in the last 2.5 years. Are you suggesting that the deferred maintenance occurred during then County Executive Walker's time? Because we're hearing from at least County Supervisor Bowen, who's saying that he believes some of this deferred maintenance is your fault, and specifically he's frustrated that there's no facilities director in place to oversee the facilities.
Well, I haven't really thought too much about fault. Again, you know, most people who are watching right now probably have the primary concern of, hey, when's it going to be working again, and am I going to get stuck with the bill for it? And I'm committing to everybody, we're not going to rest until we have the county running as efficiently as it can. You know, it's certainly every county executive who's ever been in his office has probably inherited some deferred maintenance. People care less about whose fault it is, they care that we catch up on it. So, you know.
Obviously, in June of 2010, we had issues with O'Donnell Park. We had the facade falling off the courthouse here. I mean, this is not an isolated incident. So how would you characterize what's going on here? I mean, is this a pattern of ongoing deferred maintenance, or do you think they are isolated incidents?
Well, you know, again, my focus has really just been has been on catching up. You know, I don't think anybody questions the fact that there is plenty of deferred maintenance to catch up on. Public Policy Forum years ago had that survey they put out about, you know, they had an estimate for the amount of deferred maintenance in parks. But, you know, when I saw that number, I was thinking less on you know, who do I blame for it, and more, how do I solve it? And so to use that as an example, our capital budget for parks is a lot, not a little, a lot bigger than it's been in a long time, and hopefully, you know, we can keep it at that level, and that's how you start catching up. Deferred maintenance never happens overnight. I mean, it accumulates when, you know, just for all sorts of reasons, but again, you know, we need to address it, and that's what I'm focused on.
You need to do a better job of prioritizing the most dangerous or hazardous deferred maintenance issues in the county, or do you feel you have a handle on that?
Okay. Well, yeah, no, good question. The question was, do we need to do a better job prioritizing the order in which I think is what you meant, we address deferred maintenance. We do have a system now for prioritizing our capital spending. That's a new thing since we got here, where we have ratings for projects which include safety, critical need, you know, cost to maintain. It's a much more essentially professional process, so at least we have an order. But I'll tell you right now, there's never going to be a list, a priority list for investment in capital and that anyone puts together that someone else can't find a flaw with. We've got a system, and at least, you know, I mean, public safety is at the very top of the list. So what I can tell you is, going forward, you know, that's certainly how we think about it, and we're focused first and foremost, certainly, you know, where I have anything to do with it, on public safety issues.
Where was the electrical system in the courthouse on that list? How did that rank?
Well, you know, again, you can't address a problem until you're aware it exists and you have the resources to do it. You know, again, you know, you also asked, do we know what the cause was, or was it deferred maintenance? My job is to focus on solutions. In fact, when I ran for office, I said, I don't care whose idea it is. If it's a good idea, we'll do it. You know, I'm not interested in assigning blame or pointing fingers. I'm just looking at solving problems. And, you know, in a couple of years, you know, we've lowered some debt, we've lowered deficit, I haven't raised taxes, we've improved services, improved accountability, improved transparency, and I guarantee there's a long way to go. And I won't guarantee that it'll be perfect, but I will guarantee we're making progress, and I'm not going to stop.
You're listening to a live news conference with Milwaukee County Executive Chris Abele about the fire in the courthouse over the weekend. His number one priority, he's telling us, is to find a date when they can safely reopen the courthouse and the public safety building. At this point, he has not been able to make a decision on when it will reopen. We know it will be closed today and tomorrow. A lot of questions about maintenance of the facility. He's not addressing those concerns just yet because he's trying to find out when they can reopen the courthouse.